everybody. My name's Stuart McAlister, and this is the second TIRAtalks. We never used to call it TIRAtalks, but now we're officially naming our series of podcasts TIRAtalks. And my second guest on this fine Monday afternoon is Simon Johnston from Icon Relocation in the UK.
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
Very well. Yeah, it's Monday.
Great to be here. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Before we came on, we were talking about and moaning as old men about the fact that Christmas decorations are already out.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's too early. I'm sorry. It's not anti-Christmas. We're already off on the wrong subject. But yeah, all for Christmas, but not too early.
And we've gone off topic within 10 seconds of starting, and that's pretty normal for us. But what we're here to do, obviously, Icon Relocation is a long-term member of TIRA, the International Relocation Associates, for anybody who's listening and doesn't know that. And our plan is that we're going to talk to hopefully every single TIRA member and even new ones as they join over the coming months and years. But we're starting with some of the key individuals who've influenced the organization over the past few years. And so let me start by just, I know a lot about Icon Relocation, but I'm not sure everybody else does. Tell me about your company.
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity. So Icon Relocation is a UK-based DSP, but we actually have quite a few different aspects to it. So quickly going through it. So we have Icon Relocation, which is home search and property management side of the business. We have Icon Moving Services, which is the move management side of the business. So just to define that for clarity, we don't have our own trucks and warehouses, but we have a dedicated moving team who look after every aspect of moving somebody from point A to point B. We have a digital side of the business where we've been building software initially for our internal use, but we've got some interesting, exciting projects coming up fairly shortly. In fact, we've got some new products being launched beginning of next year. We're just making a little bit of pre-noise about that, which is quite an exciting area. And then we have a complete sister business called Boxchain, which is a groupage business which is based in Singapore and the UK. And again, just to define that for a second, that is where people are moving small amount of goods and they want a percentage of the 20-foot container, and we will then group them all together to actually ensure that we can move their possessions from one part of the world to another at an incredibly low cost-effective price. Wow. So that's basically us, known really sort of as the main brand as Icon Relocation. So we started off very much at relocation and expanded into those areas over the number of years.
Wow. Okay, the groupage thing is very interesting for me. We'll maybe have to talk about that more at another time. It's not strictly what we're in the business of doing at TIRA, but I love the concept to take two clearly very, very big hubs like Singapore and London, and then for those people who would like to move a small amount of goods, which I guess is probably more and more people these days.
It does seem to be. It's a really interesting side of the business, I have to say. It's not something that we originally went to look to do, but we actually had clients requesting it from us and saying, this is a real gap, could you help?
Wow.
And it sort of all came together. Yeah, it is fascinating. I appreciate that's a separate conversation for another day, but it is one worth maybe kind of coming back to at some stage.
Definitely. And what's the history? I mean, are you the founder of the business?
Yes, it's obviously your name's going to pop up in this conversation at some stage, which is intriguing. So just to give you a little bit of background, I entered the relocation industry, this is going to age me, in the late 80s. So I used to work for one of the big relocation companies in the UK that's long since been broken up and swallowed up by other organizations. Then when I left them, I then went to work for Nestle. And I was Nestle's relocation manager and looking after anybody coming into the UK, anybody moving within the UK, anybody leaving the UK, and any Brit moving from anywhere to anywhere. So even though moving from a third country to another third country, if they were still under UK contract, then that would become my responsibility. And I have to say, it was brilliant. Not only was there unlimited amounts of cheap chocolate, it was an incredible company to work for. It was superb. But it was one of those jobs that once it was done, because we had to bring the whole of the Nestle world in the UK together. And it was about 15 different conglomerates, if you like, that made up the Nestle empire at the time. and none of them were working together. So my job was to bring them all together and go. So the Roundtrees had to obviously work with the Nestle branding. We had Cross and Blackwell was part of the family. You had the pet food division. You had the ice cream division. Lion's Made, if you remember at the time, then became the Nestle. So my job was, from a relocation point of view, to bring that all into one space so we could treat them all in exactly the same way. Absolutely brilliant job. Loved it. But as I said, when it was done, it was kind of done. And I was sitting there thinking, well, what to do next? And then the international removal company came to me and said, well, would you be interested in doing much the same thing for us? And I was very much in that zone, go, oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. So I went to work for them for a while, and then very quickly realized that wasn't really right for them, and it wasn't really right for us. But this is where you come in, because I know you're doing something fairly similar on a different angle across Europe. So we got there, and great company, not knocking them at all, but realized that wasn't really the right timing for everybody. So on the back of that started Icon Relocation. So that was back in 2001. So started the business, and it was just myself when we started it, and we've expanded since then. So we have a main office here just south of London. We had, up until the COVID period, another office in the Midlands, which we might bring back again, but everybody's working from home, so we cut that back. And then we have a whole number of people scattergun across the rest of the UK. So we cover every square inch of the United Kingdom. We now, as a company, across all the divisions, I think 42 people in total. So not massive, but a decent size by UK DSP standards. So that's, if you like, a very short plotted history of how we got to where we are now.
Wow, thank you. And I guess, to a degree, are you starting to manage outbound relocation work into other countries?
It's been a really interesting part of the business, is because I think it's probably fair to say that in certainly the earlier years, it was predominantly, very largely coming into the UK. And property management was important as home search. We started off technically doing more property management than we did home search, which is interesting. So we were looking after portfolios of properties in London for assignees coming in for a period of time, and they didn't want service accommodation. So we set them all up, we furnished, and we took care of absolutely everything, paid all the bills, looked after every individual coming in and out, and we did that for. That was the main part of our business. And then home search, which is always part of the agenda, sort of grew on the back of that, which is probably one of the reasons why we do home search where we do, which is maybe slightly different to some others, but that's because we always took this view, try and bring it all in-house as much as we could. And then we obviously were focusing on a UK inbound activity. But as we started winning more business, especially with the moving side coming in, we started then recognizing that a large part of our growth could be on international business. And that's been something that we've been really focusing on recently to try and grow that. So we've gone from a very small percentage, probably 10 years ago, to now really quite a substantial percentage of our business is international business. And we're getting to a stage where hopefully it will be exciting to have more third-party country moves. So we're supporting people moving elsewhere, our clients here in the UK who are moving some other people. And this is where the TIRA network comes in, if you can allow me to that link. Because again, it's the beauty about this is you've got the best network of the best partners and the best locations around the world. So it's easy to recommend people. It's not. The international side is an area for us.
Excellent. You beautifully borrowed my segue, so you saw it coming even quicker than I did, which is good. Yeah, we do have parallels in that we were both working effectively for the same company. For similar reasons, it didn't work out, and we both set up our own businesses. You in 2001, me in 2002. And I remember from our original conversation that my relationship with that company continued to be more symbiotic for at least a few years, whereas yours was, nope, we're done, off you go on your own. And so I probably had a much easier ride in the early days than you did. But yeah, and thank you for linking into the TIRA question. Obviously, I'm curious to find out, well, what's your history with TIRA as Icon Relocation? Yeah, tell me about that.
Sure. I mean, I think there's sort of two angles to this. One is, I have to say, the members in TIRA are just fantastic. I mean, you've got the most amazing group of people. excellent companies, excellent networking. It is superb. So from that point of view, big fan, which is why when the opportunity came to be a chair of TIRA a while ago, I jumped at it. I was really excited about it. The single issue, though, which I always want to express, is that I'm really quite proud of TIRA. I'm proud of all the members, and it's really like to show it off, if you like. And this is always the factor. So you're going into companies here, and you want to go, "Oh, we remember TIRA. Do you not see what this is, and the quality of the membership, and how good everybody is?" And we can actually help network these fantastic relationships around the world, and can make sure you've got the best talent. And it's a real frustration. This is why I'm so pleased you're doing this. This is why when you started the podcast, and I do my own podcast as well, where as soon as you did, I went, I'd love to join in with you, because it's trying to get TIRA's profile to a higher level. And that'll be so exciting if we can get away there and get to a position where you can walk into a big company and go, we're a member of TIRA, and explain what that is and go, I know exactly what that is. And I'm really proud to work with somebody. And my belief is that it can and should be there. And if it can be there and do that role, it's very exciting. And going back to what you said earlier about the fact is that we are winning more international business, and we're really keen to win more international business from the clients here in the UK. We're a very proud UK DSP, don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of big companies here. So if we can win our share of that, then that could be a real exciting journey for everybody. But we've got to walk into these companies and go, we're a proud member too. And people go, yeah, I know what that is.
Right.
So that's always my view. And if we can find a way of tiptoeing our way there, then all for it. But otherwise, as I said, as a network of people, it's superb. We just got to get the noise out there more.